No, you weren't supposed to make that save, he yells into the mic.
Shh, hello. I've had quite a few situations that would count as horror stories, and I thought I'd share a few of them. Starting with one that in retrospect had huge red flags from the jump. Not that I saw them in the moment. Maybe it was the benefit of the doubt, or perhaps it was being somewhat new to D&D. Kyle and I had been playing together for a while, and we wanted to add another game to our roster. We each DM'd a game once a week, and thought we'd co-run a game together. Side note, never again. Lesson learned the hard way. Once we had our game set up, Kyle decided to help with the combat encounters and be a DMPC only. We put out a looking for group on Roll20 and found Wormtail, who had a great application compared to everything else we got. His application did have a fun little treat, saying that he was also a YouTuber. Happy with meeting Wormtail, we moved to character creation. His first idea was a time night. I don't remember most of the PDF he sent to me, but here are some key reasons for me banning it. An unholy amount of movement, more than a tabaxi monk with mobile and rogue dash, and of course the ability to stop time at a low level. When this was vetoed, he said, "That's fine, new DMs are scared of mobility." The second character was a lightning genasi, werewolf pally, which was vetoed because I view werewolves as a race, not a class. And yes, he showed me the 3.5 PDF conversion to 5e. This upset Wormtail, enough for him to reach out to Kyle, who then told me I needed to accept his next character. The third idea was a half-elf ranger with dragon marks. The game went on from there without much fuss, and we got to know Wormtail better. After a few weeks, Kyle invited him to his own game, and not long after, Wormtail was inspired to run his own game, where he invited Kyle and myself, along with our friend Jill. Since he was new to DMing, and DMing using Roll20, I had sent him a decent amount of how-to videos explaining how to use the site, finding them helpful when I was starting out. When our session 0 happened, we met his wife and his best friend, who were also supposed to play with us, both who had never played or watched a D&D show ever. FYI, the best friend added nothing to the rest of the story. He just liked to talk about vaping. Session 0 wasn't terrible, it was pretty average. So we moved on to the game the following week, and that's when things fell apart. The session started with everyone arriving to a town during a festival and having mini intros. Jill's character was a swashbuckler who entered a sword fighting contest. Now for context, there was a map on the screen, very small and filling only a corner of the screen. The rest was white space, which is why Jill asked if the map was to size. This is because the courtyard where the contest was being held was only 10 feet long and 5 feet across. Wormtail said of course it was, and Jill, frustrated, goes on with the contest and loses, since she couldn't use some of her rogue abilities. Later on, everyone meets in the town tavern, taking time to introduce each other to one another. Then the newly formed party hears something outside, rushes to check it out. Wormtail asks for con saves, which everyone makes with flying colors.
"No, you weren't supposed to make that save,"
he yells into the mic. Why did we have to make saves? Did someone shoot darts at us? Kyle asked, hoping the answer is yes, since he's a monk, meaning he could throw the darts back at the attackers.
"Yeah, roll initiative,"
Wormtail says as he puts ninjas onto the shrunken map, which was practically more tokens than map. Is the map still to size? Jill asked, using her in-game ruler to measure where she is to everyone.
I already told you it was,
he replies, seeming beyond frustrated. Now, a side note about my character in this game. I was playing a dragon rider, which in all honesty was a reflavored ranger with some different features, meaning I had a dragon companion waiting outside the town in the woods. At the top of the second round, I ask about my dragon.
Oh, he won't be here until 2 more rounds because he's too far away,
Wormtail informs me. Using the ruler, I in turn measured where the dragon was to me in the middle of the battlefield. 60 feet. And the dragon has a 50 feet fly speed like a raven companion. I bit my tongue and waited the 2 rounds. The battle soon wrapped up, lasting 3 rounds, maybe 4 at most.
We have to take a break. I need to figure out what to do next. You guys weren't supposed to beat all of them, let alone leave one alive for questioning,
Wormtail huffed. This was followed by him saying, "Why don't we all come back in 30 minutes? Wormtail and his wife then left the Discord call, and his friend went to go get a new vape pod. This left Kyle, Jill, and I to hang out and play Magic Duels in a private call on another server. We decided to send Jill to pull Wormtail to the side so she could talk to Wormtail about everything we noticed that had gone wrong, in hopes that he'd understand and be willing to grow and learn. Jill soon came back and explained that the talk went poorly with him as he still blamed us for ruining his first session by saving. So we removed ourselves from the situation. Honestly, if that had been it, I think Wormtail still would have been our friend, even if the friendship was challenging at times. 10 minutes later, I get a Discord message from his wife. She asked about why we left, since she didn't believe what her husband had said. Mind you, I'm still in a call with Jill and Kyle. Kyle says she is messaging him as well, leaving Jill to laugh. My conversation with the wife was more about her being understanding, followed by her asking to take his place in my game, or in any game I'm running, so she could properly learn how to play. And then I thought after a few minutes, everyone was settling down and going to move on. I was wrong. The wife decided to talk about her personal life with me and Kyle. This is where the story becomes a tale of a trapped housewife. My conversation with her was a hot mess. He's not a YouTuber. He's not a good father. Something about him not liking their baby. I'm not sure. He's mean to me. The wife just ranting away about what a lying, terrible person Wormtail was, all while messaging Kyle about joining his games and trying to get with him. Mind you, Kyle was 17 or so at the time. What ultimately made us block both the wife and Wormtail was when Wormtail started messaging me about what a liar his wife was and everything she was doing to him, how he wasn't sure if the baby was even his. This was followed by the wife asking if she and her baby could come live with me. Yep, that was the straw that broke my willingness to put up with them. Oddly enough, this was not the first time someone on Discord/Roll20 asked if they could live with me. And that story is a horror story with a series of people that almost made me leave tabletop RPGs altogether. This is a weird one. It starts off with your typical that guy, and then it just moves to an unhappy couple trying to get away from each other. It's very strange, but I guess that's what goes on the internet. I guess if you're in a situation where you are unhappy with someone, your best bet is to talk it out with them. Don't bring your problems to others, and don't try to live with someone you kinda met on the internet. What do you all think about this situation?